All right, thank you. My name is Robert Day, so I'm here just to do a quick little briefing to complement the trainingandmatters.org hazard alert that recently came out. The main thing is that I'll keep this very concise and brief. So I want you to imagine, first of all, that a young worker, maybe 18, doesn't speak any English, is actually new to an industry or work site, and actually is able to get OSHA compliant training from OSHA 10, OSHA 30, hazardous gauges, confined space, fall protection, whatever it is, without actually participating in any of the actual training content itself. That's what I'll take you through today. To kind of frame the issue up, obviously the risks here are multiple fold. Is one is obviously worker safety. Person can't protect themselves by things they don't know of, and the training is designed to actually make them aware of both the hazards and the controls. Second, as far as there's a false sense of confidence if an organization is managing or tracking their training, because obviously the paper, the database entry doesn't mean anything if nobody participated. Then as well, there's obviously the regulatory violations, because training records are used to demonstrate the due diligence by organizations, as well as the actual liability to the providers that are actually providing training that says an individual completed training on a certain date and passed it or completed it when, obviously in the new age, as far as that's not known at all. So what I've done is I've just come up very quickly just to show you a quick little demonstration of it. I'm going to take you through the almost like the evolution of things here. So if we go back just a couple of years now, as far as this is how people would get through like an OSHA 10, a 10-hour training that actually tracks participation. This is quite a common one we saw in things like Reddit, where people attached their mouse to an oscillating fan or something like that and moved back and forth. The mouse moved back and forth, and that demonstrated or gave the impression that they were actually looking at the content, but still required some human interaction. So if we move from that, as far as what people think when we're talking about using AI, they think it's something like this, where they're copying from one page and pasting to another, getting the answer, and then going back and answering the question. It actually was a little more invasive than that, as far as within the last, was it 8 months ago, plugins like this one that are completely, you don't see it at all. All you're noticing here is as the examination is opened, that the individual is able, the system is automatically answering all the questions as if they came pre-populated. It also is consuming the questions so that it actually can do a better job next time it's asked the same question. And in this example, I was going through like 10 different items from confined space to the California bar to, and in three different languages, English, Spanish, French, pilot exam. It really didn't matter what the content was. So this has progressed quite quickly to what we'll call agents, or some people calling bots. But as far as, now the newest version, if I were to look at this one that's called Operator, I put in the prompt saying, go to this website, here's my username and my password, and they'll let me know when it's done. And that is the extent of the human involvement. And in this case, we're seeing actually an OSHA 10 content. And I'll jump you through this because you can imagine um, it doesn't require the human involvement. You're seeing, as far as it puts the content questions up, you could have matching, you could have different exercises that people need to go through. They could have to watch videos, answer response questions, or check your knowledge. And it literally goes all the way through the entire process, bypassing everything, answering the questions on the examination, and getting all the way to the very end without a human being needing to actually participate at any point in it other than putting the initial prompt. This means, as far as this is a OSHA 10 course, but it could be any piece of content, the individual then receives a certificate, an official one, that comes to them saying that they passed, addressed, completed, achieved. And this is bypassing all the normal techniques for confirming participation, like dividing into modules, gating the content, doing knowledge checks, requiring people to watch videos or interact with animations or matching content. All of it can be done. To give you an idea of how bad this is for our actual organizations themselves, because we're constantly testing systems, we actually have one of our staff's pugs named Phoebe, and we actually went through, and Phoebe has over 200 different certifications to her name today. So this gives you an idea of the state of where everything's at. Um, if we look at as far as the takeaways, I would say that we have here is that there is multiple AI agents this is not just I showed you one, but there's multiple that are out there today that can do this, and more that are coming online every day. There's also multiple tools, just that actually are preventing, detecting, and stopping the use of these agents. So AI is both being used as a way of circumventing the system and as a way of protecting it. So I would say any organization that's doing any kind of training or relying on any kind of online training, ensure that they have or their training provider has safeguards in place to ensure and protect, to ensure that the authentic training is being done. And this would comply then with the newer standards like the ANSI Z490 standard that requires this for any kind of OSHA, occupational health and safety or environmental training. And I would say also the assessment, knowing how quickly things are progressing, it should be a normal business function to go in and almost stress test the system and see whether it is easily bypassed. In this case, simple requests could actually get somebody through to the training itself. All right. That's the end of the briefing. I wanted to keep it very brief and succinct for you. So if you have, hopefully that answered any kind of questions you have. And thank you very much.